You're listening to the DGD podcast,
sponsored by La Touraine.
Here's your hosts, Robert Reynolds and Juan Daniels.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the DGD podcast. And right now we've got my man, Patrick Oliver. We'll have Robert Reynolds. He'll probably hop on here in a minute. But let's get into it, man. National champions. Talk about it, Patrick. What does that mean to you?
Man, it means a lot. I mean, I'm almost 45 years old. 1980 came around. I was old enough to know who Herschel Walker was, and that was about it. So I've kind of pretty much been a dog my whole life. You know, after the championship in '80, you know, things kind of settled back down, and we got to be in the, I guess you'd say, an average football team, if you want to call that, for quite a few years there. And when I got up in my teen years and on into high school, and I started looking at these 6-win, 7-win teams and all that, and by the time I graduated high school, I was like, when I really started becoming a diehard dog, and I was like, we got to get back there. And there was this one guy when I graduated high school. There was this one guy on that Dawgs team that got my attention, and he was it was that guy right there. Well, on his way to receiver in Bulldog history, so y'all know. But yeah, Juan, you made me the dog I am, because I mean, watching you play in those years, just, you know, the teams weren't that great, but you guys played like you were, and you for sure did. Yeah. And it struck something in me, and I've been DGD ever since then. And man, watching us build up to the last couple of years, and you know, the heartbreak in 17 and 18, and then the way this season started out, and we were, you know, the defense doing what they did, and we finally hit that mark. We finally got there. And I know it's 18 days later, but I still wake up every morning like, did that really just happen?
Yes, sir. And I appreciate the compliments. You know, back then, even though we were not the best team, you know, we played with everything we had. We had, you know, some injuries. I think 95, I tell people, was probably that year that we had an opportunity to go and play for a national championship. You know, Bobo gets hurt. You know, unfortunately, you have Robert Edwards, who was probably one of the best running backs in Georgia had he continued to have the opportunity to play. He goes down. You know, we have all those guys. We have Hines Ward, you know, guy Bryce Hunter, Corey Allen. We really had an opportunity. But for me, I think what makes this so special is the fact of how many guys contributed on the coaching staff from that era when you said that was one of your favorite times of watching it. So you had Will Muschamp. He was there during that time. You had Kirby, who was there during that time. Mike Bobo, even though he's gone, and, you know, he's gone to one school, went and coached, you know, become a head coach and then do the offensive coordinator. To have all of those guys to be a part of this is just absolutely amazing, and it makes it just that much more special. And then you just talk about going back to 1980. You know, I remember, you know, being 7-8 years old, and I knew who Herschel Walker was. I was enamored at the time at just how cool those gold helmets were for Notre Dame. But you know, to have that Herschel go over the top, and then, you know, we actually win that game to now 18 years. Sorry, not 18 years, but 41 years later. You know, number one, we're fortunate enough to be around to say that we saw it. But wow is all you can say. Is we've become so close. And just like you said, you have the 6, 7, 8 teams, you know, win teams. Then you go to just being so close to being to that national championship. I really feel like in 2007, if we had that 4-team playoff, Georgia would have made the 4-team playoff, even though they had 2 losses. And, you know, they go to the Sugar Bowl and beat the brakes off of Hawaii. I think that was probably one of the best teams with Stafford, no Sean Marino. But yes, we were so close. Alabama has just been our Achilles heel. For us to then overcome, win a national championship, what an amazing feeling. The other part too, and, you know, I'll even say this to Robert, is that there are so many podcasts out there. There's so many Division I teams. And for us to have and start a podcast and predict our team to win a national championship from day one, before the season starts, and then that come to fruition. That is absolutely amazing.
As my friend Rick James once said, it's a celebration, bitches.
It's a celebration.
Unity. But neither here nor there. Look, I'm still partying like it's 1980, man. I'll tell you that right now. Like, I heard what Patrick was saying. And Juan, you playing, look, it's been too long, right? It's been past my entire lifetime, more than my entire lifetime. So the fact to see Georgia fans be able to sit there and get that monkey off your back, right? Everybody for years, man, the 1980 jokes. Nobody can do that no more. That is no more. So it's more to it than that, though. But like you said, though, we did come on and we did call that the national championships, right? We called that we were the natty winners, man. So It feels good to know that. And actually see it happen was very nice.
Yeah, I thought it would be against Clemson, but against Alabama, what sweeter opportunity? I mean, what better way to say that we got our revenge against the team that has just plagued us for so long, and then for us just to overcome. The only unfortunate thing is it wasn't that 63-3 that Patrick and I always
Patrick is adamant about that 63-3.
Yeah, and listen, man, whatever Patrick picks, I'm going with him. That's just how it goes.
I mean, look, it would have been nice to see 63-3, but 33-18, that just has a ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So with that being said, though, obviously we're sitting here. We are the champions, right? As Freddie Mercury once sung. Great song, by the way. Look, let's do a little recap of this season, right? Juan, I want to ask you first. What was the most outside of the national championship? Because I think that's a unanimous. That's the top of the pinnacle. Up through this season, outside of the national championship win, what was your most memorable moment in this season?
I would say us playing Arkansas. Arkansas, that was going to be our biggest, truest test. They were ranked number 8. They've had a couple of games under their belt. We've had a couple of games under our belt. And for us to go and absolutely just smack them right in the mouth, just kind of showed, hey, we are here. Because they were not a bad football team. I mean, it's the same football team that took Alabama to the wire. And they pretty much gave everybody trouble. And for us to come out there and do that with our second-string quarterback as well, and that was another big thing too, is will Stetson Bennett be able to step up in a big-time game? And he stepped up in that big-time game. The defense stepped up in that big-time game. And I'm telling you what, it was absolutely outstanding.
So while you were speaking about this, I think within the last couple minutes, for anybody listening and tuning in, Mike Bobo has been hired as an offensive analyst for Georgia. So what we're going to do is we'll bring that back up a little bit later on in the show. Look, we're still partying like it's 1980, damn it. So we're going to be talking about this season and obviously the national title. But we're going to get around to what to look forward to now. Moving on, now it's time to defend what is ours, what we won. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But right now, guys, we're still celebrating. We still celebrating. Patrick, jumping over to you, my man. What was your most memorable moment of this season?
Well, first and foremost, the dog in me wants to call out the cocktail party, especially Kirby in the locker room. But I will hold that one back. I agree with Juan, the Arkansas game. But really, for me, I think the semifinal playoff game. We just got punched in the mouth by Bama in the SEC championship game. We were on our heels. We were like, wait a minute, are we really vulnerable? Yes, I know we had a lot of guys that were sick that week and didn't get to practice much, and they weren't at 100%. And, Jordan Davis showed that in the game with getting gassed pretty quickly and things like that. The conditioning wasn't there. That game, had they had that opportunity, would that game have been different? Yeah, I think it would have. Would we have won it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But then to come back after that and invite those guys from up north up there in that big blue house of theirs to come down here and for us to just destroy them the way that we did. I remember a picture I saw of the running back core from the Wolverines walking out on the field before the game, and they all had on these T-shirts that said "Run the damn ball." Saw that, and he was like, "Okay, Zeus, guys, y'all saw what he said. Do that," and they did.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'll tell you this. So obviously, Juan, your favorite was the Arkansas game, and Patrick was Michigan. Mine was Clemson, because the Clemson game set the tone for our season. You know, obviously in that game, the offense kind of struggled, but honestly, in our opinions, and we called this one, we knew our offense could struggle with the fact that, first game situation, right? But it legitimately set up the season based off of how we won it. We showed our true identity all season from that game right there. The offense, obviously got better, and it did. But that defense, there was a chip on their shoulder, and you saw it from game one. That defense played elite against Clemson. Basically gave, DJ Uiagalelei, gave him nightmares. And honestly, that transferred through the whole season if you watch Clemson a little bit, in my opinion. But it set the tone, right? And I think we look back at this whole season, that Clemson game is the most important because it set the tone. You look back at Arkansas, right? Set the tone. Complete shutout. Kentucky game, set the tone. There's a lot of things that Georgia did that might question people, right? When the game's out of hand, your starters, right? Your starters are sitting there late into the fourth quarter. 3 seconds left, Kentucky scores. Your starters are sitting there trying to stop them. There was a message being sent all season, especially on defense. But it all started against Clemson, which is why it's the most memorable. Now, look, not to say there weren't other memorable moments, because when Kirby told them to physically break them bitches, I've been running through a wall ever since, every single time somebody plays that. All right? So, look, there's memorable moments. But to me, I think setting the tone was so important because legitimately it literally translated through the whole season and ultimately got us to a national title, because ironically, we start the season off scoring on a pick six.
And we end it.
And we ended it with a pick six.
Just laugh and point at the damn scoreboard.
Yep.
Now, look, I will say this, though. Beating Bama, there's a lot that goes into that, right? There was a lot of narratives that were gone after the victory, right? When we won the national title, so many narratives were gone. Kirby couldn't beat Bama. Couldn't beat Saban. Gone. Georgia, 1980. Gone. A lot of narratives can't be used anymore. And Georgia fans, I'm telling you right now, you have the weight of the world off of your shoulders. But understand this, and we're going to be doing a lot of talking through this offseason into next year. The target's on your back. Everybody's hunting for you. You know it. And it starts September 3rd against Oregon. And Dan Lanning. And I'm telling you right now, Dan Lanning is going to have that team ready to go. I fully believe in Dan Lanning. It's going to be a good game. And I said, we'll do a lot more talking come close to the next season about Oregon.
Man, he knows them inside. He knows Georgia inside and out.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the things I wanted to point out too, when you just said a lot of those narratives are gone, it was frustrating, and I'm pretty sure, Patrick, you could probably attest to this as well, for a Georgia fan to watch a Nick Saban win a national championship at LSU, then have Les Miles come in and win a national championship at LSU, have Urban Meyer come and win a national championship at Florida, then have not Gus Malzahn, but Gene Chizik come into Auburn and win a national championship at Auburn, and then have Alabama, Saban go back to Alabama, have Ed Orgeron come in there and win a national championship at LSU. So there were so many coaching changes that took place throughout that time that Mark Richt was there and Kirby was there, that all of these national championships are coming in. And Georgia, who has had, probably tenure-wise, the coach of Mark Richt, all that time he was there, not able to win a national championship. Then you've got Kirby that's there for 4 or 5 years and still has not had an opportunity to win a national championship. When Ed Orgeron comes in there, who was, obviously we see where he is right now. I mean, he's no longer the coach at LSU. So you've got these coaching changes and firings, and all this time we were not able to win a national championship. Now that's gone.
You're 100% right, Juan. You're 100% right. But now that we've got the national title, right, we also have to look at moving on, right? Like I said, I'm still partying, but at the same time, you do have to understand that there's more to it. Now you have to move on. You are the national championships. Now we get to defend it, right? But let's move on to some of the party or the departures, right? So far, recently, everybody knows this. Georgia was expected to lose a lot of guys to the draft, things like that. But there's also been some portal, losses there. So I want to kind of pull up an image here and kind of recap what Georgia has dealt with so far since winning a national title. So as you can, if you're seeing this, obviously you had Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt, Darian Kendrick, Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, Channing Tindall, Jake Camarda, Jamari Sawyer, Lewis Seen, Trayvon Walker, Mr. George Pickens, Zamir, James, and Justin Schaefer all declared for the NFL draft. Like I said, we knew it was going to be a lot. But then the transfer portal, the biggest and the worst for everybody, it seems like Jermaine Burton transfers to Alabama. JT enters the portal, still don't know where he's going to go. Amir Speed going to Michigan State. Latavius Brini going to Arkansas. Jalen Kimber going to Florida. Got to love those damn Gators. Lavoisier transfers to South Carolina. J-Rob, I think he goes to Arkansas as well. And Jalen Johnson to ECU. Guys, we knew we were going to lose a lot this draft, right? This upcoming season, this off season. What are your takeaways about all the attrition that we've experienced? Do you expect Georgia to rebound and stay where we are? What are your thoughts there? We'll start with Patrick and then Juan.
I think we're going to rebound. I think we have that reload and let's go mentality that Saban breeds into Bama every year. I think we have that now too. And then we show it with our recruits and commitments and our pickups when we get transfer portal folks. Okay, sure. You can argue and say that the defense is not going to be what it was last year. Maybe it won't be, but the defense is not going to be bad at all in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion. And of the guys that left, you look at Burton, that kind of stings a bit. You win a natty with us, and then you leave to go play for the team that we beat in the natty. But okay, but for listening to some of the Bama fans that I talk to on Facebook and whatnot, they're like, "Look, we just stole Georgia's #1 receiver." And no, you really didn't. I mean, George Pickens was the receiver. He was hurt. Okay, Arik Gilbert, maybe. There's other weapons there. McConkey potentially is going to be. Burton was the #1 receiver of who we actually had left at the time. So I don't call him the #1 receiver. It still hurts that he's gone, but I get it.
Juan, what are your thoughts about that,
Patrick? I love it, man. I love it. I agree with Patrick. We're going to rebound. Here's what's great with coming off of a national championship team is there are guys that were waiting in the wings that could not wait to prove themselves. So now that those departures took place, they're ready to go in there and prove themselves. They're ready to go out there and really just kind of make a name for themselves. Burton, it is what it is. I would rather him being gone. Like we want Georgia guys who they just bleed red and black. They want to be here, and those are the kind of guys that give it their all for that G. And so we've got some receivers that were waiting in the rings. We had some guys that were hurt, but keep a name out for Denylon Morset. This guy right here, he's going to be an incoming freshman. He's going to be your next George Pickens, your next AJ Green. He is an absolute monster. And this is going to be an opportunity for him to come in there and really just, make a name for himself. And then, of course, you've got your guys there for the draft. But just like Patrick said, our defense is not going to be bad. Look at it. One of the question marks we had for our defense was going to be our secondary. And our secondary played very, very well. Of course, they had a couple of mishaps in a couple of games, but overall, they played very, very well. And so our defense is going to be strong. And at the end of the day, you've got Kirby Smart. and you've got a surrounding cast, with the Muschamps, and now, like, we just talked about earlier, now you're getting Mike Bobo in there to kind of help out offensively. And Mike Bobo is going to do a great job. He was actually the one that recruited Gunnar Stockton when he was at South Carolina. So that's just kind of a marriage just coming back together. So Georgia's going to be fine. I don't have any issues. The schedule is going to be perfect for them. That Oregon game is going to be a tough – the first game is always going to be tough. But after that, they'll be fine.
I will say this, though. You look at – everybody wants to look at the Jermaine Burton loss as a really big loss. And look, to a degree, it very well is, right? It very well is. You cannot take away his production, right, and what he meant to the receiving corps. But like both guys have said before, you have guys stepping up, right? When he was hurt, you had guys stepping up. A.D. Mitchell, 3-star, making 5-star plays. Ladd McConkey, same thing. You sit there, now the secondary, looking at all the transfer portal attrition there, the depth took a big hit. There's no way to get around it. No sugarcoating it. Your depth took a huge hit. Fortunately for Georgia, you look at the incoming recruiting class and what are we loading up on? And that was secondary, right? Whether it be safety positions, mostly cornerbacks. We knew it was coming, and it shows. It shows because you sit there, you look at the D-line hall, and you look at the receiving, or not the receiving hall, but the secondary hall. We loaded up. And look, and Georgia's not done. Georgia is not done on the recruiting trail because you have next week coming up, and that's the traditional National Signing Day. And there's a big name coming up that might just pick Georgia, and that's Kristen Miller. So if you get Kristen Miller on top of your defensive line haul, I'd say you more than well recouped what you lost. Also with the secondary, right? Look, Jaheim Singletary, Malachi Starks, just a couple names.
Killebrew.
Killebrew transferred to A&M.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But look, there's so many guys that we brought in, right? Julian Humphrey, blazing speed at corner, right? We will be fine. We will. And what really settles me to understand that we are is looking at the twos that are replacing these guys like Devontae and Jordan Davis. Those guys all got meaningful snaps, and I mean a lot throughout the season. And it was and sure you can say Georgia beat basically beat the dog shit out of everybody. So of course their twos are going to get that playing time. Even when the games were close, your backups were getting in and getting starter quality reps, starter minutes, right? That right there sets up Georgia for success, and I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised if it continues to see that same thing happen this coming up year, because you've got Jalen Carter, Zion Logue. Expect Zion Logue to have a great season, right? But then you also look at what you've got here. You've got, you look at Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins. You've got, Nolan Smith coming back, right? These guys coming back. We didn't even mention this on the graphic. Chris Smith, Tyke Smith, William Poole. Those guys right there, and Nolan Smith, obviously, huge. Kieras, huge returns in important spots, right? So you get that leadership. You get that leadership coming back. Your twos or whatever, your twos and your non-starters will basically grow up to be starters, and they were ready to go from last year. So damn well they're going to be ready this year. I feel perfectly fine with where Georgia is, and Oregon better get ready. That's all I'm going to say.
I agree.
But I want to talk about Bobo and what this means for the offense, right? We lose, receivers coach. Cortez goes to LSU. Still haven't yet called a hire for that yet. There's been some names around there. But I want to talk about Bobo, right? Juan, you have a connection with Bobo. What does this mean for the Georgia from the Georgia program standpoint? What does that mean bringing him back?
I mean, it's great. You got another offensive-minded guy. And I think a lot of people don't realize, if you look at Bobo's tenure at Georgia as an offensive coordinator, I want to say it was like 6 or 7 years. He had one season, I think it was just one season, where they only averaged 29 points a game. Everything was 30 and above. So imagine averaging 29 to 30 points a game and having the defense that you had. Bobo would have been, he would have been the next coming. And so him coming back, helping out with the quarterbacks, and he just knows the game. I mean, from being an offensive coordinator to a head coach, back to an offensive coordinator, and then just going back to an unbelievable program. My hope is that Kirby allows Bobo and Monken to, working out to be what Lane Kiffin was to Alabama. Alabama used to be that old, slow, let's run the ball, like take the air out of the ball, and we'll just rely on our defense. A 17-10 victory is good. Lane Kiffin comes in, and man, I mean, they're just sitting there blowing the doors off of people. And so that's what we're looking to have. Just having Bobo just come in there and then just kind of changing the mindset. And that's where you're going to get your true five-star guys, right? Your five-star receivers that are going to say, hey, man, I want to be a part of something like that. Because think about it. Before Lane Kiffin, no receiver wanted to go to Alabama. No quarterback wanted to go to Alabama. And now look at them. They're just pumping out quarterbacks and receivers like it's nothing. So that's what I'm hoping we're going to turn into.
Thinking about this, right? Thinking about what Georgia's offense has done with Monken here. Come under the expectation that Monken will not be here forever, right? But you look at the offensive minds that we have, right? With Todd Monken being here still, you have Buster Faulkner, which I think is underrated at this point in time. But you look at what Buster brings in, but now you have Mike Bobo. I don't understand this. I don't understand why people didn't like him when he was here, because his offense was great. Like you said, we were throwing up a ton of points. But you also look at what why do I want to know why people didn't like him. Like honestly, it was the defense at the time.
Yeah, they just weren't stopping anybody. So Bobo was not necessarily your track meet type guy. And so they were expecting during that time for Bobo to be like a Lincoln Riley or those guys in the Big 12 where the games are 56-40, 49 or something like that. And he wasn't, which, nowadays with an excellent defense, 29 to 30 points should be plenty to win a football game comfortably.
I'm completely with you. Like I said, looking at it, I didn't understand it, so having him back here, like that's a great offensive mind to have. And, and with what we've seen, from an expansion standpoint of the offense, I see it becoming a good thing for us. There's no reason not to. People look at it, maybe it's just people look at him from what he did at Auburn, right? And want to be like, oh, well, that's why that's why we didn't want him. No, to me, that just doesn't make sense, because when he was with Georgia, we were scoring a ton of points. And now that you still have Todd Monken around for the time being, it makes sense to use that collectively, do the same thing we do with the defense, right? Get those minds together and optimize the defense, optimize the offense, sustain your success. Patrick, I want to hear your thoughts on the Bobo hire. What are your feelings? What are your thoughts going through in regards to the hire?
I think it's great. I mean, I think that just brings another dose of cohesiveness and continuity to what we already have. I think he comes in and he fits in perfectly. I think he takes it to another level, even more than what we saw this year. I think it's nothing but positives from my perspective. I don't see it going any other way but up from there. But I just want to say, Rob, Juan, I'm going to have to jump off here in just a second. I have a prior commitment I have to go do. But on that note, it will not be 41 more years.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
I think you're 100% right there.
I will say it won't be more than 10, maybe more than 5 at the most. That's me.
Yeah.
So
look at that.
Having said that, you guys are great. Thanks for having me on the show. I look forward to doing it again sometime. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Go
Absolutely,
Dogs.
my man. Pleasure having you on.
All right.
Hey, Neil made a great point. She just said she likes the old team getting back together as coaches. And just like Patrick said, we were just talking about that cohesiveness. When we were at Georgia, you knew Kirby as a huge competitor. I mean, he was a huge competitor. Muschamp was a huge competitor. Mike Bobo was a huge competitor. And so we were all together in 1994. We were on the field. All of us, had an opportunity to be on the field when we stopped Auburn's, 20-game winning streak. We all played a part of that. And so to have all those guys together, it's just like a bunch of friends who are just Georgia guys, right? And if you look at it, these are guys that wanted to be at Georgia. Kirby, I don't ever see him wanting to go anywhere else to go coach football. No matter how much money they throw at him, no NFL, it is Georgia, Georgia, Georgia. Absolutely. Oh yeah, and Tennille, Uptown Lounge. Yep, Uptown Lounge in Washington Street. we would all go there and hang out at those two places.
I will say this though, Juan. So I want to ask you a question here. All these talks about the new receivers coach. Have you gotten a call from Coach Kirby?
No.
Come on, man, Kirby. I know you listening. I know you're listening. Give my man a call. Give him a call.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, who? So my question is, let's make a prediction here. Let's make a prediction. Who do you think will be the receivers coach?
I'm not really sure. I don't know what type of connections that Kirby had, when he was at Alabama. I could see Terrence Edwards being somebody that could be, a viable choice. One of the things that that Terrence Edwards does is he runs his own. It's called Terrence Edwards Academy, and he just focuses on wide receivers.
Academy too.
Yeah, focuses on wide receivers, just getting better and better. So, I could see him definitely being a great fit. And then if he gets hired on, I can definitely see him, being stuck at Georgia and being stuck by, Kirby's side until, for the long haul. And then also too, don't rule out Robert Edwards, at some point in time, maybe getting up there coaching some running backs. Robert Edwards right now, he is at, I think Riverwood. And he's been a head coach, and they've made it to the playoffs a couple of times. So he's done a great job there. So, if Terrence Edwards goes back, if Robert Edwards, and it's really going to be the old Georgia gang that we couldn't get it done during that time, but I'm telling you right now, they are getting it done. So it's just great to see.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I think Terrence Edwards would be a great hire, but if I had to make a prediction, I want to see B-Mac come back.
Yeah,
A lot of people. I'm looking at what Cortez brought to the table here, right? But B-Mac, I don't think a lot of people may have forgot about that, but my man was an elite recruiter, and still was a great developer too.
I think he's more on the head coaching track.
I fully agree.
Yeah. I mean, either high coordinator or definitely on the head coaching track.
Oh, absolutely. Look, thinking about it this right here, the fact that we're taking our time, Kirby's taking his time, I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah.
BMAC may be a kind of a wishful thinking type. I'm telling you right now, like you said, within a couple of years, my man will be a high powered off OC or head coach. Like, it's coming, right? It's coming. There's no question about it. I would love to see that. I would love to see BMAC come back to Georgia for maybe a year or two, and ride it out and get some recruiting in there. Because in my opinion, though, I think the biggest thing for Georgia right now with the hire of the receivers coach, get an elite recruiter. Because I love our development. I do, right? Like I said, 3 stars, A.D. Mitchell, Ladd, great development, right? They were ready to play, and you saw it in the national title and with Ladd a lot during the season. But outside of George Pickens, where's that 5-star receiver? Where is that receiver coming from? Recruiting matters, right? Stars don't, recruiting does. So Evaluation is key. But I want to get that elite recruit in. I want to get another George Pickens, right? Get that 5-star receiver in there. Yep. Show them, hey, look, come to Georgia. You're going to get you know what I mean? Like, you're going to get drafted. Give them a reason to come. Not saying that you can't, because, like I said, you saw, and I think, like you said, the Nylon is going to be the next up, in my opinion, as well. He's going to be a good receiver, if not great receiver.
Yep.
Throughout his time at Georgia. But, obviously trying to figure out and spread the ball around could be the biggest question there for recruiting an elite receiver.
Yep.
Everybody knows what Brock Bowers did last year, and I love it. I'm all here for it. How are you going to get these elite receivers to come in when you see the tight end position getting utilized so much, right? Not saying anything bad, because, look, we just won a fucking national championship, Juan. We just won a natty, right?
Yep.
But looking at the long haul, that matters, right? I don't want to sit there and keep relying on 3-stars if we can get a 4-star, 5-star that's, ridiculous.
Right.
So I think an elite recruiter is whoever is going to be, has to be an elite recruiter. That's also just what Kirby looks for, right?
Yeah.
So,
and
looking
Patrick
at that
said,
right
Bowers is the guy of the future. He is, and it's about development. Like, what are they going to do to continue to bring these guys in and develop them? You've got Oscar Delp that's coming in, but I think Denilon's going to be amazing, and then any other wide receivers that we have. But I also wanted to point out too, Tennille says sometimes I can't believe it. We were just kids back then, and to see the development is surreal, and it really is. Just seeing these football guys do what they love for the school that they love is just amazing. I had an opportunity to go to the parade. And then you just kind of look down and you see all the guys that were there from years and years. And then to go see Kirby, who, I'd line up against, every day. And to think, man, like that's the guy that actually brought home a national championship. It was very, very surreal, because I can close my eyes and then just go back to those practices, go back to those games and those situations, and then just be back in college, which was a blast. Even though our team wasn't great, the experience was just absolutely amazing. So I tell you, it is surreal. Like, it's here. We did it.
Oh, no, without a doubt. Look, so we're going to wrap this part of the show up, right? Stick around for the Q&A, guys. Everybody knows it. If you're watching live, we do a Q&A after this. But we're going to end this show, right? We've talked about what it feels like to be a national championship, what it means. We've talked about the departures, the attrition that Georgia's faced, right? How does Georgia go about getting past that, adversity, right? We will be fine. Look, it's just the way it's going to be, right? But I do want to bring out the Discord for the group, for the podcast. If you want to join, type in, go to the website, dgdpodcast.com. Go to Brigade. Go to the Brigade tab. You can join our Discord. It's completely free. We're growing a great community there to sit there and talk Georgia football. And actually, we open it up for the entire NCAA if they want to come in. So all teams are welcome. Check it out. Go to the website. Click it, like it. I'm telling you, it's fun times in there. Look, the Dawgs, we talk about stuff, right? What's going on. So you'll stay in the loop there. Nonetheless, though, Juan, hey, man, it was glad to be back. I know we tried to do this Monday. Some conflicts came up, so it's good to be back on a Friday, right? Expect one maybe Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
Look, first podcast, man. First show back as champions. Felt so damn good to say that.
Champions, yeah.
But on that note, though, guys, have a great weekend, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Thanks for listening to the DGD Podcast. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and to the DGD Podcast YouTube channel, where you can watch live Mondays and Fridays at noon Eastern. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the DGD Podcast. And check out the website at www.dgdpodcast.com.
We are back for Q&A. We might just talk a little bit about what one. I want to while we let the brigade come up with questions or anything they want to talk about for a little bit. Let's talk about this Discord, right? I know, Patrick, everyone joined the Discord. We keep it going live. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that Discord is a fun thing to do. But I want to hear, Juan. I want to hear. What was your now? You went to the parade, right? And you were on TV at the parade. It looked like a State of the Union address, but for 93,000 plus.
Yeah.
Like just raging addicts, right? Red and black, a sea of red and black. Like
it was like a game day. There was just as many fans there as it would be on a game day. It was just electric. It was unbelievable. Jordan Davis, he spoke. The crowd just erupted. It just went absolutely insane. Kirby, of course, gets up there. They go insane. DJ Shockley did an unbelievable job of of announcing it. We had an unbelievable fan base turnout. It was absolutely awesome. I mean, it really was. And I got a chance to be on a TV and of course talk about our woes.
I still, you know what though, I have a bone to pick with that reporter. The fact that she didn't know you played, man.
She probably there would have been no way she would have. There would have been no way she'd have known that.
I will say this: Patrick brought up a good point. Me watching from home, when the battle hymn played, I got chills, man. I did it for some reason. Every time you hear it, it just does that. You know what I mean? Like, and I know being there, understanding the context of why you're in Sanford Stadium in a cold ass January Saturday, like. Come on, man. Like I know being there was a lot different, but like for me, even just for me being at home, I was like, wow, like this is what it is. Like it's
it was just electrifying. Where you could just take your camera and just pan around and see just that sea of red and everybody that was there. It was crowded. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Just to be a part of that. And it just makes you appreciate Georgia. It makes you, appreciate everything that they are, the fans, and even the ones that were not there. And if you were one of those recruits, because they had some of those recruits that were there, it's almost like, how can you not fall in love with this place? It's almost impossible to not fall in love and be a Georgia fan and just scream and shout and just, and the players, when they were doing their walkthroughs, going around like, slapping five and, signing a couple of autographs, giving hugs. It was unbelievable.
And the thing about it was like, even for recruits that were in there, right? Like just an example, guy from Grimsley right up the road from me, man, Jamal Jarrett was there, 2023 kid. I'm telling you right now, if you're watching this, listen to that name, keep your ears peeled for that. Keep them open because that kid is going to be somebody you want on your team. I promise you. I promise you.
Yeah.
But he was just blown away by that, right? Not only was it the fact that, you're watching Kirby Smart hoist the trophy again, get the crystal football, right? Like that matters. Excuse me. But it was more of the support for the community. It was like the whole damn state of Georgia was there, man. And there was all over social media from recruits, not just Jamal, but like, Vic Burley is a name that I'm sure you're aware of. And people, if you're not, you need to be, because look, we're going to start moving to 2023 really fast.
Right.
But Vic Burley posts up on his, I think it was Instagram or whatever. And he was just blown away, mesmerized by the sea of red pulling up through the bus, and that kind of, to the stadium. He was just blown away. It was just a sea of red for as far as you could see. And if you're a recruit or, commit, that has to get you extremely hyped up, because just shows you just how much how much Georgia football means to not only the community in Athens, but the state of Georgia and even nationwide, man.
Nationwide. I mean,
it's actually awesome. Global. If you think about it, there's a couple European dogs that I know of, over in Europe. So this is a global thing. Dog Nation is global.
Oh, it's global. I mean, we also have our new fans. So I know Joel Sanders. She lives in Utah, and she's now our newest. I guess maybe furthest west. I think is Tennille in California. I don't know where.
So. Confirm that, please.
Yeah, confirm. But I know that Joel, just as of this year, is our newest dog fan. So that's just awesome for people to want to join something that's awesome. And Tennille made a great point. It's magic. That's why you don't understand some of this portal stuff. And you're looking at it like. And my thing is when it actually comes to, so Joel is a recovering BYU fan, and then And then Tennille is on the coastal NorCal. Okay,
So she's almost in enemy territory.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, we'll be out there for Stanford, so we'll have to catch up with you, Tennille, when we're out there. And then, of course, if I know that we play Utah, I don't know, and BYU. So Joel, we'll have to catch up with you when we get out there for Stanford. But when you're looking at this whole portal thing, when I was at Georgia, I was there. I did not touch the field till my third year, so I redshirted a year, played a little bit of special teams that second year, and then I was finally able to get on the field my last 2 years, and I started, fortunately, but I was just such a hardcore Georgia fan that I could not imagine or want to go anywhere else. And then let alone had I'd won a national championship and I was one of the starters or one of the key players, there would have been no way in the world I would have wanted to leave. So, once you get a taste of it, and I'm going to tell you right now, as loud and as crazy and as rabid as that Georgia fan base was from that national championship, even when we were 5-6, even when we were 6-5, barely making the Peach Bowl, they were just as crazy and rabid during that time. So there is no let up. There is no, okay, well, our team is horrible, so we're just not going to cheer. We're not going to support. They were absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, look, you know what? The crazy thing about it is, right, going back through your Arkansas game, right, going back through, all these noon games that Georgia fans are not accustomed to, and we don't really care for them too much, right? I'm telling you right now, first off, expect more of these. But the fact Georgia fans and Sanford Stadium was rocking at a noon game against Arkansas. There's looking into the 2022 schedule, right? A lot of our more difficult games, at least, and we'll talk more about this over time. More difficult matchups for Georgia are going to be at home. And with that being said, in general, you look at 2021, we were loud. We were, just ready to go. The fans were electric the whole season, every game. The fact that we have a national title now and we're national champions, I guarantee you that Sanford Stadium is going to be rocking 100% of every home game. And it's going to be for 4 quarters. I'm telling you that now.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be for 4 quarters.
It's going to be awesome. I see Joel said this is the best year to become a Georgia fan. That's pretty much why the Dawgs won the whole thing.
Maybe she's
well,
right.
if that's the case, then you have to come to a game at Sanford Stadium to experience it. It is absolutely unbelievable. It'll be one of the best things that you'll ever be a part of. And Patrick is right. You made a great choice. And then, of course, Patrick says, we've been called obnoxious, even in the down years, and I can attest to that. I mean, it is as a player to be down on the field at Sanford Stadium, listening to the crowd scream. There is no other feeling like that in the world. It is electrifying.
Juan, I have a question for you. So if you're watching this, we might have a full out blown discussion about this. Maybe on another show here at some point. I want to get your thoughts about Sanford Stadium. When will Josh Brooks expand it to 100K?
I mean, I don't see why you can't. I mean, Tennessee has done it, but right now, you are almost thinking it's going to have to happen because, and I know Patrick said, we're not going to be waiting another 41 years, maybe 10, maybe 5. I'm going to kind of be bold and I'm going to say, like, within the next 5 years, at the least, I would say 2. And that's the least. And that's, that we're going to have 2 national championships in the next 5 years, the least. Yeah. So, and the only team that's probably going to be in our way is going to be Stanford. And that's once, my son gets the whole, no, I'm just messing. But yeah.
Made me throw out the weird evil face. I'm like,
what? Yeah, right.
the questionable face. I was like, what?
Right. Wait a minute.
Made me do a double take in my mind. That's right. I'm just letting you know. But no, like I said, look, this could be a topic just for itself for a show, really. should Sanford Stadium be expanded to 100K? Because you look at the schools with 100K, right? Tennessee's got 100 plus.
Yep.
Schools up north, right? Michigan.
Yep.
Was it Michigan? No, I don't think Penn State. I think Penn State does.
No, I think Penn State has like 80 something.
Bryant Denny has 100 now.
I
think
don't know.
they do. Texas at Kyle Field, I believe.
Yep.
But look, there's no reason, and I'm telling you right now, I think a part of it is probably due to the arms race. Getting, 93 tops, basically, if I'm not mistaken, was the most we've ever sold. That was for the Notre Dame game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That place is loud as shit regardless. With 93,000. Just imagine adding 10,000 more.
That's just going to be insane.
Give me ain't nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan, right?
Yeah.
Add 10,000 more of them into the stadium.
Yeah.
You think it's loud at 93? God Almighty, give it 100.
It's going to be absolutely insane, and it's all funneling down to the field. It's crazy.
Yeah, look, I know if I'm not mistaken, the reason for the West End Zone being open was because Coach Dooley had liked it that way to feel connected to the community. But let's be honest. I love Coach Dooley, obviously. Like, understand and respect what he meant for Georgia.
Yep.
I hate to sound bad, but the times are changing.
Times are
and
changing.
the engineering's about to get tested. I feel like it has to.
Yeah.
Sit there and figure out how to expand to 100K or better.
Yeah.
Maybe
and there's so many changes on campus anyways. I mean, I don't recognize a lot of the stuff. Like when I go back to Georgia, I mean, there's like, the place where my dorm was, it no longer even exists. The campus looks absolutely different. So why not?
Look, you weren't there that long ago, so I know it wasn't in the stone huts or anything, but I'm just saying, like,
25 years, man. That's a
hell.
Long,
at least you weren't in the 1942 class, like you said one time. Remember that?
That's true. Yeah, that's right. That's right, with the leather helmets.
Yeah. No, I will say this though. Look, and obviously change is necessary, right? Especially with the way things are going, and honestly, we'll probably save this for a whole show topic, right? Have a big debate podcast show where we just talk about what Georgia needs to do to stay facility wise, right? Because this, you've been on recruiting visits with Ashton and things like that. Facilities matter. It's an arms race, and you have to look at your stadium as well. So I think honestly we might have to set something up, Juan, where we have a full show dedicated to facilities. What Josh Brooks meant is meaning to this race, if you want to say, to keep Georgia at the top in regards to facilities. And look, I think there's a lot of people that might join in on this debate whether Georgia should expand. And honestly, we could sit there and do some research and figure out some ways to see how you could expand to 100K. Maybe keep the West End Zone open and still figure out a way. Yeah. What do you do? Right? Yeah. I think that'll be a really good show, but we'll have to talk offline for that, though. I think that'll be worth it.
Yeah, for sure. But
it's off season, folks. Like,
yes, sir.
Understand. But we're gonna have some fun doing this stuff, I promise.
Yes, sir. And what'd you say, Tennille? We don't feel old though, do we? No. I actually played basketball against my middle son this morning at 5:30. So yeah, I'm 48. He's 17, and I kept up with him. So I scored on him. He scored on me, and I out rebounded him, and he got one on me. So. I don't feel that old yet.
Dude, if you put me back in on a basketball court, man, it's gonna be rough.
Oh yeah.
Look, I'm gonna be building. I'm gonna do my own expansion of Sanford Stadium with all the bricks I'll be laying.
Right.
I'm telling you that right now. I'm not good at basketball.
Yes, sir.
Look, we're gonna end this. We're gonna end this for today. Hey, look, thanks everybody that tuned in. Glad to have you back. Hey, first show was champions. Y'all remember it. More to come. With that being said, have a great weekend. Juan, as always, man, it was a pleasure. Look, go Dogs. And join the Discord, folks. Join the Discord.
Yes. Hop on that Discord. We chat all day. Go Dogs.